Hello and welcome to the channel. As always, like the video, and if you enjoyed the story, leave a comment on if you would want more. This fanfiction was not created by me, but in the description there is a link to the fanfic so you can show your support to the creator and read along. Without any more delay, let's dive into the story.
Hinata's POV. I always thought Rimuru is hiding something. The way he talks toward his students is always reserved. And although he was pretty much open up to me, he still held some of his thought. I never meant to pry into his circumstances, and I don't have any intention to do so. I believe in the right to privacy. If it is something that Rimuru never wanted to speak of, then just let it be. In that sense, I genuinely respect him. Although he seems to always acting goofy, he's pretty much a calculating figure. I found him sometimes cunning as well, along with brazen ideas that were out of this world's common sense. His love for a comfortable life is unquestionable, but his love for his companions is much more certain. That includes people who are close to him. I never saw Rimuru get sad, even though I ever saw him almost snap by letting his demon lords or a leak. I don't know if is it because he didn't have anything to be sad for, or he kept it inside for himself. Gradually, I grew to care for him. His naivety is both his weakness and strength. I kept holding to his naive idea, he continued to grow stronger. But with his naivety, he got himself a never-ending problem. I saw him brush those problems alone with a cheerful laugh and an easygoing personality. I don't know where his cheerful energy came from, but I thought it was already part of his personality. So as long as we knew each other, we both accept whoever we are. But I began to wonder if that was his true face since a few days ago. I happened to join him on a picnic with his students. They were also sensei's students. Those kids are very lively. I may not show it, but I feel happy to see them grow healthy. But they can be too much lively sometimes. For example, the one named Kenya was asking for a spar. I see some ulterior motives inside his behavior. My best guess is he tried to look great in front of someone. But it turns out, the other boys also want to join in. With the three of them asking for a spar, I guess it's a good opportunity to see how Rimuru has educated them. I don't think Rimuru would spoil them, but sometimes he can be too doting toward the kids. And when it's decided to be 1 versus 3, I decided to not go easy on them. And my decision is correct. With their raw power alone, they could be on par with the rooks. Their technique was somehow still rough on the edge, but they were able to perform it better than a trained Templar. For example, the boy named Kenya is a pretty skillful swordsman. He knows where to hit his sword and he is able to control his strength to make an effective move. Then, there was a boy named Gale. His intuition and leadership are his best weapon. He can analyze the flow of the battle calmly, and he dedicated himself to taking a blow from me whenever it seems to be dangerous to his allies. He took my attention by attacking from middle range and received my attack with his shield. He also commands the other two and plans various tactics. Meanwhile, the boy named Ryota seems to be the one who ambushes me whenever I am busy with the other two and sometimes acts as a distraction when Gale had to recover. His aim is very accurate, and when he imbued the arrow with wind magic, it becomes a missile that always chased me. But unfortunately, one of my unique skills alone is enough to handle their teamwork. With their attack can be predicted, it's easy to avoid every of their attack. Their inexperience was also a decisive factor when I threw them a feint. Their movement becomes a dance on my palm. Their teamwork is commendable, but their opponents are too bad. But I honestly praised them and acknowledged their abilities. They still have many times to grow. And at some point, I'm sure they would surpass me. And as a reward for their performance, I tell them one of my unique skills. But soon it's spoiled by Rimuru after he deliberately tells them I have 2 unique skills. I got a bit annoyed by him on that day. But it's not because he reveals my ability, but it's because he unintentionally looked down on Sensei. I would never tolerate anyone who looked down on her. But I actually knew he didn't mean it like that. So I wanted to do some retaliation. On that day, I let myself become a selfish person and learn how to tease others. And my first victim was Rimuru. I never knew teasing a person would be fun. I exaggerating a bit about my reason for being irritated by him. I was holding back my grinning lips when I saw his face in deep thought. But that fun ended up pretty quickly after Rimuru made a face I never saw. I don't know what's he thinking, but I can see it's pretty troubling him. I felt a little guilty because it might be because of my teasing. But his face got brightened again after the kids showed their affection toward him. Then I suddenly remember more about Sensei. Because his face resembled Sensei, I came to remember they both have a similarity. Both Sensei and Rimuru never show their weak side, not even to their closest one. Even though I respect anyone's decision to handle their problems privately, seeing Sensei and Rimuru didn't trust me to help them made me irritated. I don't like being a liability and being treated as a helpless kid. That attitude was there within me since I saw my father change. I don't like being helpless while the people I care about were suffering. I'm not afraid to dirty my hands as long as the people I care about can be happy. But I have been failed to do so after the relationship between me and my mother got worsen. I also failed to realize Sensei's circumstances, and simply left her out of my selfishness. Sensei's death made me broken because I knew I didn't have any opportunity to repay or to lend her hand anymore. Even I don't have a chance to see her again. Those regrets had made me picking a fight one-sidedly with a person who took care of Sensei's last wish. I'm again just adding more regret by almost killing him. And then, just when I started to lament about myself, I just suddenly think about Shizue-san more than usual. That sentence coming out from Rimuru was surprising to me. He rarely says anything emotional. He continued to tell his story about the first time he met with Sensei. I took this opportunity to learn more about Sensei. But the more I know about Sensei, the more I regret what I have done. All of this wouldn't happen if I stay by Sensei's side a bit longer. Or perhaps, this is my own punishment after all I've done. Besides, speaking objectively, everyone already got what they want. Sensei can finally rest in peace, the kids are safe, and I have a pretty satisfying life. So for me to continue this sadness would be pointless. Since there's nothing I can do about it. Sensei has passed away, and her last wish was already taken care of by Rimuru. But then, what is Rimuru has gained from this? Somehow, his earlier facial expression keeps bugging me. It's such an oversimplification to say he's being sad. What I saw there earlier is much more than that. I'm certain it's not because of my teasing, but I'm sure I had triggered something unpleasant inside his mind. In my logical sense, I have a debt of gratitude towards him. He has fulfilled my sensei's last wish, whom I owed a debt of gratitude as well. He saved Sensei's last students who thought it to be impossible for being saved. And he has forgiven not just me, but the whole of my companion for destroying Tempest's incident. Although I'm not directly involved in the Falmouth invasion, I'm certain he actually has a grudge against me for that incident. I wouldn't blame him if he still resent me. In fact, I would wholeheartedly accept any kind of his wrath. Even on the surface he gave us forgiveness and wanted to end the hostility. I doubt he'd get through it without any wound in his heart. For a long time after the incident, I simply thought that he was trying to be okay with it. And he didn't want anyone to interfere with his own problems. And I respect that, and accept his way to continuing life without any resentment. But that face earlier is still bugging me and triggers my memories of Sensei. His appearance, which resembled Sensei, only made me feel more in pain since I always saw that kind of face on Sensei's face. Right, that kind of face that hides the real pain. But what is the scar in Rimuru's heart? What is he hiding? And after thinking for a while, I suddenly realize, when he tells the story of his first meeting with Sensei, he never mentions anything about his feeling at any point. He didn't deny or admit about Sensei being his destined one. He didn't tell how he felt when he saw Sensei's death. He didn't tell why he granted Sensei's last wish. And most of all, he didn't tell what is his feeling toward Sensei. Is there any wound about it? If it's true, is that the reason why he's still reserved when interacting with the kids, and me? Is there something he didn't want to tell anyone about him and Sensei? I keep wondering about this thought. But I found it to be inappropriate to ponder about this with Rimuru. But then, Rimuru said something baffling. I'm sure Shizu-san's life would be happier than she was here. Does he mean Sensei's alive somewhere? I kept asking him to look at his reaction. Even I used some intimidation a bit on him. Then the kids got joined in the fray. But perhaps because of that, all his responses become goofy and playful again. He acted normal. And for a moment, I thought I was just overthinking things before. I guess that's just how Rimuru is. But after Ryota asked him why he's not gonna search for Sensei, he answered. Because I don't want to disturb her new life. And for a glimpse, I saw that face again. He's talking about Sensei's new life as if he has made an unforgivable mistake to Sensei when she's still alive in this world. In my objective point of view, he has done nothing wrong to Sensei. On the contrary, he has done more than enough for her. But I know it may be not the case for Rimuru. And my hunch, who I rarely rely on, somehow tell me to persuade Rimuru to chase Sensei's soul. I don't have any possibility, let alone a definite conclusion about what's inside Rimuru's mind about Sensei. But I have a feeling that it must be not a simple one. In the worst case, it's probably more than just one scar. So I kept making reasons to make Rimuru chase after Sensei's soul. But even so, the ones who made his resolve are probably the kids. I merely only made him agree to check Sensei's soul, and not chase for it. In that case, someone needs to keep his resolve. I knew Rimuru would never betray his own words, but it's still possible he would feel down when he meets unexpected events. Somehow, I feel the urge to support him. I feel eager to go with him. I don't know whether it's because of my debt of gratitude, or my regret toward Sensei who made me feel this way. But I wholeheartedly accept it. I accept my own feelings for wanting to walk beside him. And for my further luck, turns out I was capable to accompany him to the other world where Sensei's soul was located. And so, with a surprisingly joyous feeling, I came to another world with him. But sadly, that transferring process to another world quite taking a toll on me. My body feels incredibly exhausted. And I sense no magicules around me, so it's not making me able to fix my sight with magic sense. Activating a skill turns out to consume a quite amount of energy for me in this world. I was starting to worry I would hinder Rimuru's journey at this point. But luckily, Rimuru is offering to take a break. I deliberately accept and chose an easy workload to collect firewood. I suspect none of us bring a tent, but I believe Rimuru would do something about it. And turns out, what he did was pretty outrageous. He just casually took a 2-story wooden house out of nowhere. He even absorbed several trees and made an empty land. I sighed but can't complain. Because I can't deny it would be more comfortable than a casual tent. So for now, I take his hospitality. He even offered to make a dinner. I honestly feel bad for him because I probably become a burden. But he didn't seem to think about it that way. And as bad as it seems, in my condition right now, I can't do anything but accept his offer again. I was choosing a room on the 2nd floor. It's just a reflection of my memory of when I stayed with Sensei and Yuki. Because I used to be living in a 2-story house as well with both of them. I'm already a saint, but I can still sleep like a normal human. Even in some cases, sleep would still help me recover better. So after taking away my armor, I took sleep very soundly. I can't remember anything, but I knew I had a pretty good sleep. I was recovering quite better when Rimuru calls me to have dinner. At first, I teased him again a bit about me being a saint who doesn't need to eat, but I immediately brushed it off after I saw what he make. Miso soup. A dish that sensei used to make. It's very nostalgic and brings out happy memories with her. And somehow, eating together with Rimuru was giving me a sense of warm and comfortable feeling. I suspect most of it must be because of his appearance resembling sensei a lot. So it feels like I have dinner together again with sensei. Mine had a bit salty, he said, commenting about his miso soup. In my honest opinion, even sometimes sensei had terrible taste of food. So I don't even mind his error in taste. I simply enjoying this moment. While we eat our dinner, I try to feed my curiosity about him by asking about his life before he got reincarnated. And after I hear about him dying to protect someone's life, my respect for him increased. But I honestly think it would be more strange if he died in natural ways. For him dying for the sake of others, he's not changed for who he is in our cardinal world. So we continue our talks. And for these rare circumstances, I tell him some part of my personal story as well. I have no specific reason to tell him so, but I find it comfortable to tell him. And perhaps, I could use it to encourage him more in this journey. So, I exaggerate some parts of my story to seek more of his reactions. But even so, I'm still not used to opening up too much, even to sensei. And for my luck, Rimuru started to avert the conversation into a discussion about our future plans. Rimuru might be worried about the incomplete reincarnation of sensei, but I still have a hunch it would help Rimuru to become happier. Our discussion went on without any problem. Rimuru now seems eager to do anything he could. He even going to make sellable items to procure some money. I feel a bit relieved seeing him being this eager since I was the one who provoked him to do this journey. I can't explain to myself exactly why I want him to chase sensei's soul. And since he said he's going to do everything by himself, it's a good opportunity for me to take another rest. I was pretty happy to be able to take my time to have another sleep. I promised myself, tomorrow I'll do better to help him. And so on, the night has been spent. In the early morning, I have my body in nearly good shape. I still got a little pain in some parts of my body, but not to the point I couldn't use it. So I walked down the stairs and found a pair set of tunics with other clothing. One of the tunics is colored white with a long sleeve. I thought that would be mine. I was going to ask Rimuru about this, but surprisingly, I found him asleep in a nearby room. I never knew Rimuru still needs sleep. Or perhaps, he also needs a rest after performing that teleportation between two worlds. And for that, I chose to not disturb him. I waited there while examining the other creation by him. A few dozen minutes later, he came with a refreshing look. He greeted me and explained about the tunic and food he made. He chose the blue tunic and leave the white one for me. After that, it's my turn to change. After changing our clothes, I carry the bag of food. I felt responsible, so that's why I took anything I could do for. We began our journey to the market that Rimuru mentioned. I don't know from where he knew such a thing, but I guess it's fair since it's part of his power. Along the way, there's a problem arose with a group of knights who seems to rob us. I was preparing myself to finish them by force, but Rimuru handled it better. Unfortunately, with my body still recovering, I still cannot properly activate my skill due to the energy I have still in trouble. So I didn't use my magic sense, and couldn't understand what these people said. And again, I have some trouble with my sight since my eyes were myopia. I chose to let Rimuru take charge of everything. I don't want to decide his way, so I choose to support whatever he decides. So I keep myself from joining up with an unknown conversation and only talks when Rimuru asked me. At some point, I learned about this place, or rather this kingdom's situation. I hear the story from Rimuru, but I can see the gestures from the knight when they tell the story to him. And from the story, the individual named Constance turns out pretty interesting. I really can't be sure, but if he has such a personality, I wouldn't be surprised that he's the one who has a part of Sensei's soul. I told him such a thing, and again, I got surprised to see his face. He shows a discomfort expression. Or rather, a disappointed one. He looks down and he seems to be in a deep thought. And this time, he didn't immediately back to composure. Is this, perhaps he expecting Sensei to be a female again? If so, then why? I don't know many things about souls, but based on how they reacted after the death of the individual, it's no wonder to inhabit a random person out there. Is there perhaps some other naivety inside Rimuru's mind about this journey? I can't keep asking around myself. To confirm it, I better ask him directly. Are you disappointed Sensei didn't reincarnate into a female again? And no. That's not it. It's... Then a brief silence. What is this? Why is he acting this way? Or don't tell me, the actual reason is... I see. I think I know the gist of it. I won't be too much certain about it, but that's the most possible answer I have right now. If I was right, then it would be the answer to my other questions as well. But it seems Rimuru himself didn't aware of it, so it's still premature to make it a final conclusion. So for now, I think the best way to continue the search was at a slow pace. On that note, I heard Rimuru murmuring the sentence I don't know. Strangely, I felt a bit happy and tried to comfort him by saying I would find it troubling as well if Sensei was reincarnated as a male. He seems to be quite amused by my response, and by adding his other thought, he seems to came back to his normal self. But now, I can predict a little bit of his attitude in particular circumstances. We continue the journey with high-spirited knights who coming along. Some of them tried to talk to me, but I cannot understand what they say, so I kept quiet. Rimuru has also tried to attract anyone who tried to talk to me. He seems to want me to feel unbothered by them. But whatever the reason, I'm pretty happy to see he can distract himself from his earlier troubling thoughts. And so, even for me, the journey felt quick. A big fortified city is standing in front of us. I heard from Rimuru that this city is named Cardinales. Previously our intention here was to sell the food that has been made by Rimuru. But as things went on, we were going to take those knights' hospitality. Long story short, we were given pretty much supplies from them. We have food, water, money, and a tent. After that, Rimuru has been explaining about his solution to my inability to activate magic sense. I agreed with his solution in the end. Although I find it pretty difficult to accept more of his generosity by using his own magicule reserve. But I tried to brush it off by joking about being too much relying on him was annoying. And with my joke, it seems he kept getting back to his normal self. Later after, we went to a place known as a tavern. In my opinion, it's a pretty much uncomfortable place since the unhygienic environment. But this place looks like a perfect place to gather information. Our main objective in this city is to gather information about this world. At least, that's what's Rimuru's thinking. Meanwhile, I was thinking about more specific situations. While Rimuru had talked to the young waitress, I enhanced my senses with the magic sense. I'm looking for a potential informant. With my thought acceleration, I scanned through the room and found many kinds of people being gathered. I also tried to listen to every interesting matter. But there seems not much information I could gather by eavesdropping alone. And then, I found a fine-looking man with neat attire. He looks pretty well educated. I was preferring someone educated rather than someone who takes on every piece of information circulating around. I turned my head towards him. And somehow, he also happened to looking at me. I made a gesture with my head to ask him to come over. I see him nod, so I waited for him to come by. I'm planning to give you a discount since this is your ever-first tavern. Are you sure you won't order any of our wine? Thank you for your offer, but you see, we need to save some of our money for our journey. I heard an exchange of talks between Rimuru and the young waitress. It seems that there was an unfortunate deal. So I give a hand to him. I ask how much the discount is, and manage to exchange a bargain. My teasing skill was somehow increased, and I find it a fun way to treat people. And by doing that, I managed to obtain some market value of the commodity around this city. I tacitly observed the men whom I was asking to come by. He readily moves to our table, but I suddenly notice another man coming closer. And this man doesn't look to have good intentions. I tried to patiently wait. But as it turns out, both of them are coming at the same time. And unsurprisingly, both of them had quarreled. The fight ensues into a fist fight. I honestly felt bad for him. I wanted to help him, but the other guys around are blocking me. At least they also tried to separate them. But then, a tall young man appeared. He beat both of them pretty badly. And I sensed another guy behind him. And I was right, he's a sweet-looking old man with his hair already become white-colored. He have a long beard on his chin but didn't have any mustache. He often closed his eyes. After dealing with the two earlier guys, they came toward our table. The old man asked to share our table politely, and I find it amusing, so I let him and the young man have a seat at our table. They introduced themselves as Gray and Eric. Gray-san seems to be a lively person, while Eric seems to be a bit shy and awkward even though his physique was rather dominating. Rimuru has taken a liking to both of them, especially Gray-san, who immediately befriended him. Gray-san seems to be an observant person as well, because he can see the real gender of Rimuru. I find it amusing as well when he admits he's actually a male. The reaction from other customers was succeed to make me struggle a bit to hold my laugh. But the conversation went on very lively. Rimuru and the two others seems to be joking around about smoking. I personally dislike smoking since it's a sign of delinquents, but it's a different case for now. Grayson also pondered about our money since we were able to buy a bottle of wine. And from that part, I gather a lot of important information from Grayson. I genuinely respect Grayson for his knowledge. After I know more about this kingdom situation, I concluded that the prince was already in a dire situation. The only way to win this war is through a major victory, since prolonging a war would cause a collapse on Prince Constance's side. I made my comment about the current situation, and because of that, I became to know Eric seems to want to join the ranks of the knight. I have no commentary on his decision. As a human, we ought to make a lot of decisions in our life. Some might be regretted, and some might be grateful. But it seems the other two had more to think about it. Grayson seems to be looking pretty sad but hides it with a small laugh and says Eric would be a proud knight. I have not understood how it feels, but I know it's pretty hard to let your family do what they want. I see. I guess that is what Sensei felt when I said I'll be gone to join the Crusaders. Behind her smile in our farewell, she must be felt sad for being left by me. I unconsciously took a glance at Rimuru. And again, Rimuru showed a face that I normally didn't see. He's in deep thought. I keep wondering what he might think about Eric, who's going to join the army. And at that time, I can't comprehend about what's the connection between Eric's departure and himself, who didn't have any relationship. Or, is it actually Sensei's memory that has taken his mind? Is he saw that memory too? Is the memory of Sensei when I left her appear through this conversation? Is that the actual face of Sensei when I left her? Yohankuen? Grayson is calling him. Rimuru becomes flustered and acts awkwardly. But even though he acted that way, I sense what he's saying is the truth. It seems he's accusing himself of being immature. But then, you have experienced losing a person you love, and not just once, but twice, right? The face that Rimuru's making is like someone who's been stabbed. The face of someone who's being hit in their core. It's an oversimplification to say he's shocked. Even if it's for a very brief moment, he showed not only what's inside his mind, but what's inside his heart. So it's not a memory of Sensei about me leaving her, but he hides his grief over Sensei's death? He didn't deny Graysan words, so he really feel that way towards Sensei. And so, I feel very sorry for him. Losing someone whom you loved unconsciously, and accused of being her murderer. He tried to find any reason to not open his scar by saying Sensei's soul might inhabiting a person in a good life. But I guess, what he actually felt was he was afraid to see her again. Then, this journey has become a mistake. Rimuru shouldn't meet Sensei, or whoever she is now. It will only make him overthink his mind. An unknown feeling is a great threat since he wouldn't be able to find the solution. And I'm certain, Rimuru is not aware of his feeling toward Sensei. He took a glance at me. He looks like he's trying his best to hide his feeling. I have to get him out of this situation. I'm sorry, Graysan. But what you said is true. You've crossed some line. My brother has been through a lot. So I humbly ask you to not pursue the matter. I asked Graysan to not ponder about Rimuru's circumstances. Even though I actually haven't known much about it, I think it's a good thing to not ponder about it now. And fortunately, Graysan is a good man to know his position. After Graysan apologizes, Rimuru seems eager to change the atmosphere. And not just that, as much as I couldn't believe it, but I saw Rimuru's expression has got brightened. It seems he's been successful at something, or at least, found a way to succeed. The happiness which shone in his face, made me suddenly rethink again about what I thought to be a mistake. Is this journey something Rimuru needs? Even though it will pain him, will it actually make him become better? Will it at some point, he'll never have that sad face anymore? If that's so, for my own benefit as well, will it be counted as I repay my debt of gratitude toward him? But what if the continuation of this journey turns out to be more painful? But all those thoughts are starting to disappear upon seeing how happy Rimuru having drinks with our new acquaintances. Perhaps, in some way, just accompanying him on this journey is enough to make the journey fruitful. After drinking our wine together, I noticed the story from Graysan about this kingdom's civil war has affected our views on this world. I'm from another world, but I still consider myself as part of the guardian of humanity. Even though we basically just stumbled upon this area which undergoes conflict, any kind of bad action against humanity is a violation. Rimuru seems wanted to help, but he worries about the effect on us. And for that, I cannot deny it. Since it's mostly true. But I know Rimuru doesn't want to regret anything. I wonder if this truly going to be okay for him. We both agreed to return the provisions that have given by the knights. I don't need it as well, but I understand we cannot just reject anyone's kindness. When Rimuru returns the food to the knight's base or rather, infiltrates, I waited for him outside. But thanks to the magicules he's sharing, I can hear better to the surrounding. And by that, I knew that Rimuru has eavesdropping the knights before. But unfortunately, I didn't understand their circumstances. While in the other hand, Rimuru seems to have a better idea about what they have talked about. Because Rimuru has taken plenty of time observing them. But even without knowing their circumstances, I can hear the solidarity between them. In that sense, I try to guess what is Rimuru's feeling about it. He's more kind than me, so I knew he was more eager to help rather than me. But at the same time, there's probably more Rimuru to know than me about the whole world. I'm not very sure about it as well, but Rimuru seems to have a concern about the effect of meddling in this world affair. Even if we only meddling in one kingdom, perhaps he has already foreseen a bigger conflict that could arise because of it. Rimuru has become a king, so it's no wonder if he understands more about politics than I do. But as I have seen before, Rimuru has made some kind of resolve. My best possible guess is Rimuru trying to heal the wounds he has. Whether it may be about Sensei, or it's possible there's something else that still bothers him. And I would feel bad if he didn't get what he need. May mighty God Veldanava is in our favor. I heard the head knight offering a prayer. And I sensed that Rimuru had shocked. For me, Veldanava is just a mighty creature who creates this world system. He has long gone, and never involved in this universe's matter. All of the world's matter has been done by his own creature. That's why I didn't really put anything to mind when I heard Veldanava. But it seems, for Rimuru, it's an important matter. Or perhaps, Veldanava itself has become someone important to him. Luminous-sama herself never talked much about Veldanava, so I never knew her personal opinion. But I have never been told about her origin. Something about divine ancestor, named Twilight. I also ever read a little about it in the Ingracia library, but since I didn't find it important, I never take it seriously. Just when Rimuru managed to come back, we talked about it a bit. He seems to be thinking about it more seriously, and it made me a bit guilty for not learning more about this matter. But maybe that's a good opportunity. I don't know how important Veldanava is for Rimuru, but if this world worshipped him, he might find something useful. And all I can say is this world might be somehow connected to our cardinal world. In that sense, I also find myself having a bit sense of attachment to this world. If Luminous-sama found this world, I think she would find it amusing to develop a new land here. Rimuru has spouted his mind about didn't want to meddle too much in this world. Which, I already know. And moreover, I think I know the important basis of that idea as well. But I think he has to deal with it. To continue pursuing Sensei's soul, to make the resolve I saw earlier to be achieved. At this time, I tried to not overthink it and decided that Rimuru's scar in his heart must be about Sensei. But it turns out, it's a grave mistake. After I talked about our plan to teleport, many things happen. And my suspicion about Prince Constance is the one who has Sensei's soul, turns out to be true. I don't know how he did it, but I can see footage inside my mind of a lot of carriages having a convoy toward our location. And that footage became a nightmare as I saw cruelty happen to the people. For me, abandoning my ideals is an extreme doing. So seeing the civilians being slaughtered with such brutality is enough to make me decide to meddle in this world. Rimuru seems to be more horrified than me, but I see some hesitation inside him. Or rather, a scared expression. But after he put more thought into it, he resolves himself. And thus, we both agreed to join the fray. Remember, once we arrive, there's a battlefield. He said. And I nodded. I knew that much, so I prepare myself. Then, suddenly a circle of light appeared underneath our foot. And before I knew it, we've already in another place. The surrounding area is in chaos. People are running to my back, screaming is everywhere, and horses are running uncontrollably. Many carriages have been left behind. The first thing I do is to check my surrounding area. I looked around to find any possible enemies, identified civilians, and found allies. I saw in my back there were about 6 knights standing. 4 of them are holding someone in noble attire, and they look shocked after seeing me and Rimuru had appeared out of nowhere. I recognize the one in noble attire, he's the Prince Constance. Meanwhile, the other 2 has immediately pointing their sword toward me. As I saw Rimuru on my side, he was immediately gone and attacking the mounted knight. I cannot be left behind him. So I turn my head, gazing at the prince. Leave it to us. And then I went forward like Rimuru. Rimuru seems to engage the enemies, while the civilian is still in panic. Some of them are falling, and many of them are injured. I decided the priority are saving the civilians first. And so, while Rimuru distracts the mounted knights, I gather the remaining guards and help the civilians who run away. They are all in panic, so after seeing me who's still in composure, not just civilians, but even the guards are following my directions. I also put some healing magic on the guards and civilians who had serious injuries. As I expected, every one of them are shocked. Well, what is this? How can it be? My wounds. What are you? But I rebuke them immediately by saying, just shut it and take it. In this dangerous situation, you have to accept any kind of help to survive. No matter how hard it is to accept it, as long it makes you survive, and you have to move fast since the enemy won't let you take time to run away. Not long after, I saw no more civilians running to my direction. So I gave a command to the guards who were still nearby. Hold your line, I'll go forward. They seem to be wanting to join me, but none of them are following me in the end. As I ran toward Rimuru, I noticed in far away there was a group of black-mantled men, committing cruelty against people. But as much as I wanted to save them, I don't think I would be fast enough to reach them. So the idea which popped into my mind was taking over Rimuru's role to take care of the mounted knights and let Rimuru take care of the enemy in far away since he's much faster than me. Rimuru seems to be feared by those knights, but those knights are still trying to engage him. At this point, he'll only be wasting time. So when I saw one of the mounted knights charging at him, I jumped forward and dropped a flying kick towards him. The knight got blown away until he hit a tree. I stand beside him. He looks in very good condition. I'll handle the mounted knights, you rescue the people in front. Got it. Then, he ran forward with inhuman speed. What the hell? What is going on? Oi. There's another one here. Finish her. They began to charge at me. But they seem to be foolish since I can do the same as Rimuru. I dodged their charge and appeared in their blind spots. Their horses are starting to panic and run amok around, causing chaos on their own. The knights fell to the ground, and they started to collide with each other. I quickly ran towards the remaining knights, including the knights who fell, and disarmed them. Mostly I hit their armor with the bare minimum strength, and make them groan in pain or fainting. Everything seems to be okay, and we slowly gaining more foothold. But then, Arfrg. The remaining enemies are screaming in agony. The mounted knights all fell unconscious, and the remaining civilian who near me were also fainted. The horses are running wilder, fleeing from the road. I felt a dense aura. A demon lord's aura. No, it's rather more powerful than that. It's a true dragon aura. I was confused. I'm very certain it's a true dragon aura. But there's no possible way there's a true dragon here, and furthermore, at the same time wasn't deadly enough to kill people. If it's coming from a true dragon, there should be more casualties. I don't know who's appeared, but I have a very bad premonition. And then, the ground is shaking. A ray of black lightning appeared far away from my position, but it was very huge so it can be seen from many kilometers away. And that black lightning, I knew who was able to cast such deadly magic. That Rimuru, what has he done? I ran as fast as I could. And then, after a few kilometers ahead, I saw dozens of black-mantled men lying on the ground in horrible conditions. There's a corpse that has been cut in half, arms cut, decapitated, and burnt to ashes. Then the aura is disappearing. I follow the remaining aura. And ran towards it. It took me another several hundred meters. But there, I found Rimuru standing in silence. He didn't move, but some of his aura is still leaking. Rimuru. What are you doing? I was very upset about what he has done. The damage is worse than anyone in this world could imagine. Trees are on fire, the grounds are cracking everywhere, the road also become damaged and has covered with black ashes, and people far away are trembling in fear. I was going to reprimand him for how reckless he has done. But then, I notice his silence. He stood there, in the center of the cracks in the ground, without saying any words. His long hair has covering his face. The lights from the fire around us illuminate the scene, but his face is simply dark from the cover of his hair. His shoulders are lumped, and he didn't look anywhere. His head is looking down. And at that moment, I came to know. I know the rage he can do. I know there's a painful wound inside him. And I knew, deep inside of him right now, he was crying. At that moment, I became certain that Rimuru was hiding more than just one painful wound. The rage that he showed towards those men in black was out of his personality, I knew. Blood spilled easily around with his hand, and a serious killing intent came from his eyes. It's all brand new to me. Rimuru. I tried to reach out to him, but he didn't even budge. The sight was scary, but for me, it was painful. The always smiled Rimuru, who brushes his problems off with goofiness, had cried in silence in front of me. Then, out of nowhere, I saw Sensei inside him. I saw Sensei is really crying in Rimuru's place. It can't be. I felt a sudden pain inside my chest. It's more painful than I ever feel. I feel helpless. I feel a pierce inside me. Sensei. I tried desperately to reach out to her. I dragged my feet towards her. The closer I get, the heavier it goes. I reached out to her with both of my hands. But then, she disappeared, leaving me with Rimuru. But before I know it, my hands have reached Rimuru. I can feel him. I can feel his cold skin in my hand. Rimuru. And before I realized it, I hugged him. Constance Blaze POV. Your Highness, it's time. Is everyone ready? Yes. There's a pause before answering, then it means it's the otherwise. But I can't force it, this is the best thing we can do. Alright, then at least let me stay behind the convoy. I can't let that happen, Your Highness. Our enemy is only a few kilometers behind us, they can reach us very so dash. That's why we can't let you stay behind, Your Highness. We cannot lose you, you're all our best hope. Do you think I can't fight? Please understand, Your Highness, even if you can fight, we can't stand that many soldiers who coming at us. If you get captured, then our fight would meaningless. I can't stand it. Being in this situation, I cannot risk my life. But because of that, I can't fight alongside people who stand for me. Is there really no other city other than Cardinales which can we use? Unfortunately, every other city is not suitable enough to become our base. Besides. Alright, I understand. Not every territory is supporting us. Our best and only ally was Count Ballard in the south. Nevertheless, he didn't have many armies either. But he has been generous enough to let us use his territory to become our home base. Then, it's time, Your Highness. I nodded in grief. In the first place, I didn't want this conflict to happen. I never hate my brother. I don't want blood being shed for just our misunderstanding. If this is just something between me and my brother, there should be only the two of us who fight. But again, many people sought an opportunity in our quarrel. I can sense there's someone who orchestrated this conflict. I promise, once this conflict is over, I will retaliate against whoever made us his pawn. I go into my carriage, and it's placed in the middle of the convoy. My knights are guarding every side of my carriage during the journey. I sent the news of our departure to Captain Allen 2 days prior, and I hope he can arrange some additional army when we near the city. I hope we can last for at least 3 days. Your Highness, it's already midnight. I suggest using this time for rest. My butler, Vilain, is sitting in front of me. He told me to get some sleep, but I cannot rest until we arrived in Cardinales safely. I'm sorry, Vilain, but it seems impossible. I see. Vilain must be understand the reason why. He didn't pursue the matter with me anymore and decided to stay awake with me. He also brings out some sweets and food from the food supply. Your Highness, if you mind, please have some of this food. You haven't eaten anything since this afternoon. I don't feel so hungry, Vilain. Your Highness, don't blame yourself for everything. You're not the cause of this conflict. So stop being too hard on yourself and eat. Vilain has gone reprimanding me. It's no wonder, his temperament is actually an impatient one. But he's very honest and loyal. Seeing him still like this somehow relieved me a bit. All right, I'll take half of it then. And please, share it with the people too. By your will, Your Highness. Thank you. And so, I take half of the food he offers and let him go to share it with some people nearby. We brought up around 20,000 people, including my knights and army, to evacuate to the city of Cardinales. My territory, the Principality of Holgen, has been too much ravaged by the conflict. Every city, town, and even village in my territory has been damaged by this conflict. I was preparing to surrender, but then miraculously, Count Ballard suddenly sent a letter to me and declared his support for me. He even allows me to use his territory as our base operation and has formally permitted me to use the Cardinales city as our bastion. I cannot thank him enough, but I immediately dispatch my own knight brigade there to help secure it and prepare for our evacuation. I tried to hold on to my own territory while the evacuation begins in some phase. But as days went off, our strength has gotten weaker and weaker, while our enemy had still better superiority over us in every aspect. So I have no other choice than join the biggest and final evacuation to save our remaining strength. Our best possible outcome was we able to reach Cardinales in 3 days, and immediately strengthen Cardinales to face my brother's army. But anybody knew, it was nearly impossible with our condition right now. I can only sigh thinking about it. I cursed myself for not being able to find any other solution. I hope miracles happen. I mumbled those words, but somehow, Vilan is hearing them. If we really on the good side, God would never abandon us, Your Highness. He replied without any hesitation. I wish I can have that much confidence, but the dragon god is still only a legend. You never doubt anything about the dragon god, Vilan? I don't have any reason to not believe it. Without the help of the mighty dragon, this kingdom wouldn't even exist, Your Highness. You're talking about the legendary dragon, Scorched Dragon Velgrind-sama, right? Yes, in my whole family, we take pride as the very first servant who trusted to serve your great-great-great-grandfather who's been loved by the mighty Velgrind-sama. We never forget, and we always take pride in it, including me, Your Highness. I smiled after seeing him answer my question in such high spirits. Whether it's true or not, it's already written in history. The story of my ancestor being loved by a mighty dragon named Velgrind, it's become somewhat common knowledge throughout the continent. The dragon has made this dying kingdom become a fertile land, and dispose of every enemy who's seeking the new rich land. But the mighty dragon didn't stay long. Only after my ancestor passed away, she leave this kingdom. She said that she was not interested in this world, she only seeking her lover's soul who inhabited my ancestor. We couldn't understand her mind, and she never leave anything for us except this new rich land. The one thing she ever said to us was, "Don't worship me, I only did it for my beloved Rudra. If you want to worship someone, worship my brother Veldanava. He's the mightiest of all of us." And for that, the people of this kingdom, Kazland, started to worship Veldanava. But there's no literature and no other proof of his existence. They basically worship him, without knowing anything about him. But to say I'm not a believer in his existence, it's not the right answer. The proof of this kingdom's soil being fertile, while geographically impossible, was a miracle enough for me to believe there is omnipotent existence out there. Then I wished he would help us. I don't have any power to end the suffering of my people. Only a miracle could help my people. If the miracle happens, it must be because of you, Your Highness. I'm only bringing disaster to this kingdom, Vilan. That's not true. It's already a miracle we could come this far, Your Highness. It's only sheer luck, with many sacrifices. Then, there's our miracle. Our sheer luck, for being able to live this far. Only us, not my people's family or their low dash. To lead another 100,000 people into a bright future. Your Highness, we can't decide fate. But we can make any situation become better. That's our role, as the future leader of this kingdom. I can't rebut Vilan's argument. No matter how much hate I have for sacrifices, I will always be needed to step forward. I understand that much, but I can't accept other people's life easily, just for my sake. You have been through a lot, Your Highness. I know I already said this, but you should rest. We've been in countless battles. You might not feel it, but you are already at your limit. Please rest, Your Highness. Are you sure it's gonna be all right? Let's hope our sheer luck would save us this time. I really hope that would happen again. He smiled at me and bring out a blanket. Just rest, Your Highness. I can't have any other argument anymore. So at least, for now, I'll do what he asks. The ride has been bumpy, and the armor I wear is uncomfortable. But surprisingly, I was immediately asleep. Is His Highness asleep? The head knight who's one of the guards the carriage, asks Vilan. Yes, he's been at his limit. He just never showed it. Vilan answered. His demeanor was not as elegant as most of the servants, especially servants of royalty. But his sensitivity and brash attitude somehow always managed to help the prince to stand on his feet. Not just once he had been warned by nobles and even the king for his brazen attitude, but Prince Constance always chose him to accompany his side. Well, that's just who he is. But that's why people loved him. The head knight, named Klon, responds to Vilan's answer. He's the captain of the 9th Royal Knight Brigade, who should be serving the king. But after the conflict broke out, he chose to fight under Prince Constance's name. While the other Royal Knight Brigade chose to fight under Crown Prince Terrace, which was actually logical since he was the legitimate successor of the throne. Will we take a break? Vilan asked Klon. We will, but not long. We would only take a break for half an hour, or an hour at most. I didn't receive anything from the guards behind, but it's possible pursuers are coming at us. I see, how far we are from Cardinales. Initially, we are about 100 kilometers away. But at this speed, we can reach Cardinales in 3 days. That's good. Can I tell this to His Highness when he awake? Klon take a time before answering. I think we should not. We're still too early to say everything's gonna be fine since we only moved for around 5 kilometers from our starting point. Really, is there any good thing I can say to His Highness? I'm so sorry, Vilan-san. But to be very honest, we managed to depart this quickly is already a miracle by itself. You're right. It's always a miracle. Sorry for not being grateful, Captain Klon. Don't worry, Vilan-san, I have known for your attitude. And stop calling me a captain, right now I'm not the head of the 9th Royal Knight Brigade. Alright, I'm sorry. I just forgot. That's just so you, Vilan-san. Klon managed to put a smile on his lip. This is the only amusing moment he has after a whole day busy organizing the evacuation. And Vilan also put a smile, only his was bigger than Klon's. Then, I pray for tonight's safety. That would help. After that, Vilan came back inside the carriage, while Klon stepped away from the carriage. I hope miracles can happen tonight, Klon thought. But that night, something really happened. The only problem was, whether it was a miracle or disaster, no one can decide. On your guard. The sudden shout-out woke me up. I was immediately sit on where I sleep, and put my hand on my sword. Protect His Highness. I hear it loud and clear. I look outside the carriage and found everyone running forward. I don't know what exactly going on, but I know it must be enemies are coming. I see Vilan is in a fully alert state. Then I spontaneously came out from the carriage. I can't run away when the enemies are coming. Your Highness. Don't come out. Get back inside, Your Highness. Klon and Velan were ordering me to come back and sink. But I won't do it. Your Highness. But then, the other knights were also joining in to get me back inside the carriage. They held my shoulders, holding my arms, even one of them are choking my throat. What TT? I tried to ask what was going on, but the knight who choked my throat is holding my voice out. Idiot. You're choking His Highness. I heard Klon shouting to the knight behind me, and immediately after, he let me go. My utmost apologize, Your Highness. He suddenly knelt before me. But that's no matter because now it's not a time. What is going on? What is going on? Then one of the armed people, or rather just an ordinary person who happens to wield a sword, reports to me. Your Highness, our convoy has been attacked in the rear by pursuers. The enemies are deploying mounted knights and mercenaries from the foreign kingdom. We must retreat. Retreat? Where to? We cannot retreat anywhere. We cannot retreat, but we can make His Highness flee away from here. Your Highness, please take the horses and run away from here. Klon suggests, but that suggestion is not counted as my solution. No, I cannot do that. I'll fight here. They might be searching for me. I'll take their attention away and use that moment to secure our convoy. No way. We cannot let you do that dangerous thing. Your Highness. Please understand, we are willing to die for you. Please run away and don't let our belief goes out. Yes. There are still many people awaiting for you in Cardinales. We can still win this war. Screw this war. I can't hold back anymore. I let out my inner thought unconsciously. I really have tired, I want to give up. I don't want to see any more death for my quarrel with my brother. My sudden statement made the soldier around me go silent. They might didn't expect it. Screw this conflict. I never wanted to see any of you die anymore. If my death can end this conflict, I'll gladly accept it. They remained silent. And by seeing that, I unsheathed my sword. I'm prepared to face those enemies. At least, I would save as many as I can before I die. Perhaps, it would ease the sin I have made. Then I'll face those enemies. You cannot stop me. It's become unbearable. And I won't let any of you die for me anymore. And so, I turn my back to them. I'm beginning to walk to the rear of this convoy. I should have done this earlier, I thought. Maybe, if I do this earlier, many lives can be saved. But just as when I took another step, they started to hold me again. Your Highness, please, don't be like this. Don't think your life alone is enough to end this war, Your Highness. We are willing to do anything for you, but don't make us let you die, Your Highness. But I won't hear anything from them anymore. I've made my decision. My luck isn't happening again. The miracles I hope wasn't come. It's time to face reality. It's time to realize I'm not good enough to be saved. It's time to end this. Let me go. I shouted at them. And they stopped. Finally, they have given up. Or so I thought. As I lift my head up again, I suddenly saw two figures standing in front of me. At first, I thought the two of them are female. But the other one seems strange. The first one has long black hair, with golden eyes, a slender body, and bluish attire. While the other one is having short black hair, black as pearl eyes, wears a white tunic, and is stunningly beautiful. I cannot determine what the other one with the bluish attire looks like, since he, or she, was suddenly gone. It seems he moved suddenly at incredible speed, toward our convoy's rear. Meanwhile, the other one turned out looking at me. The two knights in front of me have pointed their swords toward her, but she seems undisturbed by it. Rather than undisturbed, she looks like she doesn't even care about the others. But she looks at me intently. "Leave it to us." Suddenly she spoke. And then, she leaves at an inhuman speed. I looked the other to make sure I didn't just hallucinate. But they were also shocked at what just happened. On my instinct, I ran following her. And after a while, the knights who were also my guards, followed soon. We all ran together, but surprisingly, none of them are saying anything. And I took it for granted. I still saw many people running toward our direction. They are still in a panic, so we also do our best to help them. We direct them to a safe direction, and whenever we saw fallen people, we would help them to get up. Most of them who were injured or fell are women and children, while their husbands or father were desperately trying to get them back on their feet. This kind of sight is what makes me want to give up. But then, Your Highness. Who is she? That young woman is curing our wounds. It's unbelievable, but look. My wounds are gone. I suddenly got reports from the troops from the rear guard about the young women. I don't know who they talking about, and what kind of nonsense is that? Healing wounds? How can that even be possible? You need to take weeks, even months to heal those kinds of injuries. Who are you talking about? I finally found the right question. The young women in white attire. Is she one of us, Your Highness? What? No way. Are they talking about the young women I saw before? I suddenly have the urge to see it right away. So I didn't answer any of them and run forward with all I have. My guards are the same and followed soon. Soon after, I managed to see her. She's commanding the nearby troops with such dignity and charisma. I have never seen someone who has ever led as dignified as she. And most of all, that's it. Look. She's done it. Your Highness. Look. I look at her. She's kneeling down on one of the injured civilians. I saw a huge slash wound on his arm. But then, the young woman put her hand upon the injury. Then a light suddenly appeared in her hand. The sudden light appearing in her hand is shocking enough. But what is more shocking are the injuries. I can't believe what I see. The injury has been healed. Well, what's that? I unconsciously asked. We don't know, Your Highness. But we have been like that too. That's right. Our wounds are suddenly healed by themselves when she put a light on it. Is that the legendary magic? We all suddenly fell silent. That's right. There's a legend saying about a mysterious power called magic. A power that breaks any common sense. A power to break the law of nature. The power who rumored to belong to the mighty dragon. It's impossible, isn't it? Just look at her. She's a human, right? And the other one, it looks like a human too. No way they're a dragon. Although, the legend about Velgrind-sama also tells that she occasionally uses a human appearance. But her might and dignity are completely different from a human. Then what is it? Is she on our side? Yeah. Look. She even gave orders to our men. I can see it. She was giving orders to the soldiers nearby, and they looked completely obedient. Your Highness, we have to help her. Velan suddenly made a statement. That's right, I cannot just stand here. I have to do what I can. I desperately wanted to join the battle before. You're right. I'll go help her. Your Highness. We can't dash. No, it's probably the miracle we've been waiting for. We have to do what we can. They suddenly fell silent. Klon was the one who opposed me to joining the battle the most, but he's not an airhead. He must know what we should do. And, with those two powerful beings present, this is our safest place. His Highness is right, Klon. We have to do something. Klon's face became troubled by Vilain's push. And after seeing me eager to join, he gave up. All right, but please stay close to us, Your Highness. I only smiled at his words and nodded. Then, without any second thought, I ran forward. But it's too late. Hold your line, I'll go forward. The young woman gave orders to the guards nearby. We heard it loud and clear. We came to those guards and asked what happened. They say she told them that she would charge forward. Her speed is so overwhelming that none of us could see where she go. Your Highness, we have to do what she told. But, I can't just stand here doing nothing. It's all right. She seems to trust us, so we shall do the same. But, it's all right, Your Highness. My banter with Vilain couldn't be continued anymore, since I too have no more reason to deny him. He's right. I don't have such overwhelming power. And if she is on our side, then all I can do is support her by not getting in her way. But then... Woa! What was that? Asterisk boo. Asterisk crack. Some soldiers fell, Vilains too. The trained knight and I were still able to stand. But the ground shaking suddenly is very surprising. But that's not all. The other fell silent again, a very dead silent. The remaining civilian, soldiers, horses, and me, are all staggered seeing it. It was lightning. Very big black lightning. Coming down to the ground from the sky, strike down the earth with magnificent force. Then, the smaller black lightning is coming to the ground like rain. Seconds later, a strong wind came at us. But this wind, it's not normal. It's very thick. It brings an ominous feeling. I can't breathe it. My skin is all in pain. Then, tremendous pressure are squeezing me. And I felt it. I felt fear. It makes my mind go abnormal. I can't think straight. I took a glance behind me. And I was surprised nobody was standing. No, more than that, they are unconscious. But then, a sudden flash of images appear inside my mind. An image of a mysterious land. There, I saw a man. A man with long blonde hair. I can only see him very briefly, but he looks very beautiful. After that, I felt my body collapsed. And then, everything went dark. It's been 2 hours since I accidentally leaked my true dragon aura. I was very lucky, though. Seal somehow managed to reduce the density of the aura, so it's not deadly enough to kill people in a wide radius area. But it means I have killed some people nearby with my aura alone. But again, I was lucky that there's none of them were civilians or Prince Constance's guard. So it made me feel a bit relieved that those people who died were the ones who made my rage come out. Rimuru, don't ever do that again. Hinata said this to me while dragging a terrified man to the side of the road. That man has removed his black mantle, and now he is simply just wearing white linen clothes. He's been shaking a lot, mumbling words that we cannot understand, and some parts of his body are petrified. It's a similar symptom with PTSD, or shell shock, in modern human history. Certainly, he never experiences any kind of aura before, so it must be because of Master's aura which caused him like that. I feel bad about it. Is there anything we can do for him? I wouldn't do anything to him since he's one of the people who caused great pain for Master. Now I really feel bad about it. No, actually, in a sense, Seal's right. This accident reminded me of the most painful day I ever experienced. It would be too good for him if I cured him. But yeah, I shouldn't snap out like this. Sorry, I just can't hold it. I apologized to Hinata. And she gave me a worried look. I'll turn a blind eye to this one. But next time, don't do everything by yourself. I'm here with you. I was quite surprised to hear it. But I remember that she even hugged me when I couldn't think straight. I guess she can be very caring sometimes. I'll let this go for this one. Next time, I'll be the one who consoles Master. Oi oi. Seal, this is not a race, you know? I was grateful you managed to reduce the danger level of my aura. You have done more than enough, Seal. Thank you very much, Master. I don't have any willpower to oppose you. I'm very sorry I cannot suppress your leaking aura. No. In the first place, it was my fault to be blinded by rage this much. Seal has not done anything wrong. Without Seal and Hinata, I surely would make a bigger mess in this incident. And by the way, I haven't thanked Hinata yet. Thank you for what you've done, Hinata. I'm sorry for causing this much trouble. She glanced at me, her worried eyes were still there, but her mouth had loosened a bit. And after that, she gave me a little smile. I'm not doing much, but I'm glad you've come back to yourself. And I'm serious, I'm here to help you too. Don't burden yourself that much. I'm honestly surprised to see you were caring for me this much. I'm really grateful. Ho, so you think I'm an uncaring person this whole time? Yikes. Her attitude has suddenly changed 180 degrees. Her face has stiffened up, her smile has disappeared, and her stares are deadly cold. Crap, just when I get to see her soft side. I was careless. And no. I didn't mean it like that, I always knew you were a kind person. I just didn't know you have this much care for me, you know? She didn't look at me anymore and only replied, whatever. Then, she walks away and grabs the other trembling person nearby. I can only sigh in relief because I didn't push her anger further. So, for now, all I can do is help the remaining unconscious people. I walked away and headed back to the prince's place. But I found too many people unconscious, with some wounds, lying down on the road. And most are in serious condition. So I healed them using holy magic since Seal said the people in this world were not used with magicules, and because of that, they have been rejecting any kind of magicule use. That's why I cannot use any potion here. I use holy magic to perform any kind of healing technique. From simple recovery to high heal for everyone who is still alive but unconscious. But I can't perform resurrection since they have passed away for a while. Their soul has left their bodies for too long. Many of them who's been healed are still lying unconscious. This is said to be the effect of the shock by my aura. Or so that's how Seal's explanation. But some of them managed to get back on their feet in no time. They're probably the ones who have a strong will or a rare kind of human who is known to be fearless. But it didn't save them from confusion either. They looked around with such confusion, and they even cannot find any words to say to me. They just stand there and look utterly speechless. And then, I hear someone running. His sound of running is very clear, around with the sound of metals hitting each other. The people who have been conscious immediately turn their gaze to the sound direction. Then, appeared from the darkness, I saw Prince Constance arrive. He has short blonde hair, his face is gaunt, and he has big round eyes with a gentle look and white skin. He wears a chain mail, sabatons on both of his feet and spalders on his arms. On his chain mail, there appears to be a red cloth with a dragon picture on it. He seemed to be out of breath once he stopped and looked at me. But seriously, he looks pretty amazing. I haven't healed him, and he manages to get back on his feet on his own. Possibly because he has a part of Shizue's soul who's strong enough to resist magicules. So that's why. It's still pretty amazing, though. But I guess it's not the time to amaze by the sight. Prince Constance looks in a struggle to say something. But many seconds after, he still looks confused and speechless. So I decided to break the ice first. Greetings, Your Highness Prince Constance. My name is Rimuru Tempest. My pleasure to meet you. I'm sorry to have caused huge damage in this accident. Rimuru. Tempest? He looks puzzled, but more than that, he looks like he is remembering something. And I have given up on concealing my real identity. I have shown my power, so it's no use to hide the fact that I came from another world. Yes, Your Highness. My name is Rimuru Tempest. It probably wouldn't be good if I immediately introduced myself as an otherworlder. So I will bring it up once the situation has calmed down. I guess I have gotten better in common sense. My apologies. I still can't comprehend the situation. Are you the one who caused all of this? Including the Black Thunder? Oops. He's not wrong, but if I fully admit it, it would make me look like a bad guy. Well, I killed people, so I guess that remark doesn't wrong from a particular perspective. But I had no choice. It was an unnatural event, so there will be no reason which makes sense in this world's common sense. Yes, it was me. I'm very sorry for that. As I said it, I began to realize some people lying down on the road had truly passed away. I have really killed people in other worlds. A sudden feeling of guilt began filling my heart. But then, the prince started to speak in a surprisingly polite manner. No, it's unfortunate, but it can't be helped anymore. As far as I can see, you've killed many of our enemies. I'm fully grateful for your acts. He bowed to me. His words are sincere. But I can sense some fear in his attitude. It's no wonder, actually. Please raise your head, Your Highness. I've done terrible things. I cannot accept your gratitude for that. He lifted his head, and then he gave me a smile. But what comes next is a minute of silence. And he was still looking at me. His face somehow expresses a relieved expression. But afterward, his face becomes teary, and he bursts into tears. He didn't cover his face, so I could see his tears streaming down from his eyes. His head was bowing down again, but then, strangely, he knelt to me. I was so confused about why he suddenly burst into crying. But I think it's probably because of what I've done. He might be grateful for me to save him, but in my hands, there's the blood of his people. I think he might be scared too, and that's why he knelt to me. But turns out. Now I'm certain you're a miracle I have hoped for. Thank you, Rimuru Tempest-sama. Huh? Wait, why I became a miracle from his perspective? Does he seriously perceive my doings as a miracle? I burnt the place, damaged the surrounding, and killed people. Why does he see it as a miracle? I can't stand it, so I ask him. Please stand up, Your Highness. And what do you mean by miracles? I think I have done violence against your people. And I'm just an ordinary person, please don't use honorifics for me. Don't be modest, Rimuru Tempest-sama. You and the young lady must be transcendent beings who are sent to this world. Those you have slain are not my people, Rimuru Tempest-sama. They are my enemies. He still refused to stand up. And worse, the already conscious people are starting to understand the situation and join him. Oh boy, I thought I would be feared, but it turns out it's otherwise. As I thought, Master didn't have to feel guilty at all. Seal says something rather comforting, but it feels wrong in some way. And in that sense, I shouldn't let this prince to knelt before me further. Prince Constance, please stand up. I think we have a lot to talk about this. I feel we made some misunderstanding. Then he lifted his head and asked. What kind of misunderstanding have I made about you, Rimuru Tempest-sama? First, that one. Just call me Rimuru. And the rest, let's talk about it in less formal circumstances. I understand, but is it really okay for me to stand up? Of course. I would find it troubling if you still knelt to me. After I said that bluntly, he immediately stood up. But not with the other people. Oi, you guys, please stand up as well. I said it casually, but it turned out they lifted their head and showed me a confused look. We can stand up, Rimuru Tempest-sama? Darn, are these people so strict with social class? Lack of education has caused a minimal bar to freedom of thinking. Therefore, there's a tendency to always follows the higher class person unconditionally. Damn, so it's like a monster who follows the stronger? Correct. I actually meant that as a rhetorical question, but never mind. Of course you do. I didn't mean it just for the prince, you know. After I said that, they immediately stood up as well. And I saw the prince's expression after he saw this. He looks like he has mixed feelings, I guess. Alright, now allow me to say something. Stop calling me with honorifics, and you can just call me Rimuru. All of them are in surprised looks, while the prince has a troubled one. But then, if you insist, then you should call me with Constance as well. Oh, pardon me. I just forgot I haven't introduced myself properly, am I? The prince suddenly became panicked, but I just laughed it off. So, in the end, I asked him to introduce himself. My name is Constance Blaze, the second son of King Bertot Blaze of the Casland Kingdom. I'm also the second prince and the ruler of the Holjan Principality. My greatest pleasure to meet you, Rimuru. He bowed gracefully while introducing himself. Some of the people who were already conscious were in awe of his manliness, or should I say elegance. If it were not for his mistake to almost call me by my full name, I would give him full remarks on that introduction. But now is not the time to think of such things. I'll have to respond to him and have some good talk. Now, are you sure I can call you Constance? No problem at all, Rimuru-sama. Hey, don't use any honorifics to me, remember? My apologies. Yes, you can call me by the name only, Rimuru. All right. That's settled then. And Yua? Why the other people have backed away? I was intended to ask for the names of the people earlier who were able to wake up pretty early, but they seemed to back off and take several steps away from me and Constance. Am I doing something wrong to them? Rimuru, didn't you really know the etiquette? Etiquette? Of what? Well, it's not that I like it, but in this kingdom, if a person can call a royalty member without honorifics, they are considered equal with the royalties. And by equal with royalties, that means the ordinary people, or plebeian, shouldn't be able to stand near them without permission. But I dislike that etiquette. Constance gave me the explanation with an apologetic tone. It seems he understands right away that I dislike those things. Well, can I permit them now? Yes, but Rimuru, I didn't mean to be impolite, but, he looked to the civilians and guards who were unconscious, can my people wake up? I didn't see them have injuries, so I guess they are all still alive. But they didn't seem to be waking up as well. Oh right. He didn't have any knowledge about what would happen to his people. I completely forgot to explain it to him. Oh my, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention it. They are all still alive but will take time to wake up. The ones who already wake up, however, are pretty special. Special? Could you explain it to me? You know, they have fainted because of my uncontrollable power. To put it simply, my leaked aura has put fear and pressure on people. But the more bravery or willpower you have, the better resistance you can do. So, they would be waking up based on how strong their willpower is. So that's it. But they will be all right? Yes, don't worry. But it will take some time before they would eventually wake up. I see, that's a relief. Thank you, Rimuru. But he averted his eyes to the ordinary people, his people, who fell victim to such cruel violence. His eyes become wistful. But he looks at me again, forcing a smile. If you don't mind, Rimuru, I have to honor my people. I cannot save them, but perhaps I could start digging a grave for them. I cannot let them die like this. I'm sorry I didn't arrive on time. It's okay, Rimuru. I have mixed feelings about it, honestly. He paused a moment. I really dislike seeing my people live like this. I hate when I lose just even one of my people. But perhaps, in that sense, without them, you wouldn't arrive. No, it's actually, I can arrive much earlier. I can't hide the truth that I was actually able to come here much earlier if I didn't hesitate or thought such trivial things as appearing with teleportation magic. If only I had decided to aid him since the beginning of the convoy, I could saved more people or perhaps the entire convoy. But the most painful truth was I came here mostly because of him, not his people. My answer has made him silent. I don't know what he's thinking, but he is looking at me intently. I don't feel any moves from him, but somehow I can feel his eyes is looking at me up and down. I unconsciously averted my eyes from him and looked at the burning carriages and the dead people. It's not your first time, Rimuru? The sudden question was really breaking the ice. I don't know whether I was surprised by his sudden voice or the question itself. And when I saw him, he didn't look at me. Instead, he looks at the dead people. Yeah. I didn't intend to look pathetic, but judging from my tone, I guess I'm gonna look like that. Then, I guess I know what you feel. He averted his eyes to me again and showed a little smile. And I think I'm starting to understand what my people felt about it. I look at him and wonder, what does he mean? But looking at his face, he looks more calm than before. His expression becomes softer. Rimuru, you've done enough. In the first place, if you didn't come to save us, we would be annihilated. So don't look down on yourself. He walked closer to me, and then he continued. Thank you very much, Rimuru Tempest. His voice is tender, it feels like a breeze of air in my heart. I didn't feel any burn inside of me, but somehow, I felt like a fire had been extinguished. I almost didn't know what to say. But I knew I had to thank him too. Me as well. Thank you, Constance. I didn't think I deserve any gratitude. But if you feel better somehow, I'm glad for it. We both trade our smiles. And after our short silence, we both went to prepare the burial of his fallen people. We both started with gathering the corpse that scattered around the road, some even found inside the woods. One by one, the other people start to wake up. At first, they all showed a confused look. But after some brief explanation from Constance himself, they accept my presence. And after that, they started to help us gather the dead. Those who died are identified by the survivor. Some are their family members, friends, neighbors, and even work colleagues. I managed to obtain their names, and I intended to write them on the tombstone. I made a huge pit to be used as a mass grave. And before the remains are buried, the survivor takes some of their possession as a memento. Then, they shovel the soil to fill the grave. I made a huge tombstone, writing their names on it. Seal counted that there were 739 names written on the tombstone. But some of the corpses didn't have anything to be identified, nor anyone knew them. There are about 90 people who died without anyone knowing their names. It's pretty sad, so we made a different mass grave for them. We also took some of their belongings and put them in the box and buried it along with them, wishing that someday, someone might search for them. This place becomes their last place to rest. And I wish they have peace in their rest. The burial didn't take much time. It's still dawn, the sun hasn't risen yet. The survivor made a bonfire while Constance and I were discussing with the guards. At that time, Hinata also arrives. I still didn't know what she did to the survivor from the enemy side. She realizes she hasn't explained what she has done to the enemy to me, or rather, to us. And so after introducing herself and her relationship with me, she started to explain what she did. Basically, she intended to gather information from the remaining survivor of the enemy. She wanted to know who are they and what they after since they didn't look like a knight. They have proper fighting skill but doesn't have the right demeanor as a knight. Their ruthless attack against civilians was a huge sign of difference from the normal knight since the mounted knight who also attacking were mostly ignored the civilians. But she didn't manage to obtain much information. They are too much scared to speak, they mumble unintelligible words and tremble. Only a few of them are able to speak their name and where they come from. Apparently, the rumors are true about Prince Terrace, backed up by neighboring nations. Those Black Mantle people turned out as hired mercenaries from other nations, and promised to allow plundering during their mission. And by the looks of it, tonight is one of those missions. Hinata said she found 13 survivors and kept them alive for now. That's why she joined our discussion right now. Aside from telling what she discovers, she also wants to let Constance handle the enemy survivor. Hearing this, it was not Constance who reacted, but Klon, the head guard. I don't see any reason to keep them alive. They cannot give us anything useful. Your Highness, I think we should execute them. I agree we have to punish them severely, but I'm not sure to execute them right now. Why, Your Highness? These men are not warriors. They have done harm to our people. If we want to gain information, I prefer to interrogate the 5th Knight Brigade that attacked us earlier. So those knights are the 5th Knight Brigade? I see, I won't spare the enemy, then. Sir Klon, I'll let you handle their execution. But make an exception for the Knight Brigade. They are just trapped by their oath. I don't intend to punish them. By your will, Your Highness. Then he turns to me and Hinata, Rimuru-sama, Hinata-sama, I cannot express how much gratitude I have for you. I wish I could repay you someday. At the least, that is what we can do for you. I leave them to you, Klon-san. It was Hinata who responded to Sir Klon's gratitude. I was initially trying to say something, but she jumped into the fray immediately. So I just gave him a nod with a smile. Yes, Hinata-sama. I'll bring them here and make a public execution. Now, I'll excuse myself. Then he walked away from us, heading toward the rear of the convoy. Now, Your Highness, Rimuru-sama and Hinata-sama, I'm afraid we don't have any luxurious meal to serve, but I can cook some delicious dishes for you. Why don't we use this to take a break? Vilan, the butler who serves Constance, offers his service to cook. Well, as I was curious about how to cook in this world, I don't think it's a good time to have a luxurious break. Before the convoy manages to arrive safely in Cardinales, it's still dangerous out here. I was thinking of teleporting them immediately, but I guess that is something that I have to discuss with Constance and Hinata. But for now, I have to respond to Vilan's offer. I was searching for good words to reject that offer, but then Hinata spoke before me. Again. Neither Rimuru nor I need to. Forgive me for being rude, but I don't even think we should waste our time. We may have pulled the enemy back, but it's still not safe. We have to continue our journey. If you need time to rest, don't take too much time. I thought Hinata's words were quite impolite, but surprisingly, it made both Constance and Vilan smile. I agree with Hinata. We should continue our journey as soon as possible. Now, thanks to that, I don't have to spend a lot of time preparing my best dishes. This is as Sir Klon suggests. We can only take a break for half an hour, or an hour at most. Then let's do that. Let the other people have a short break first. I'll prepare for our departure. Constance readied his sword and started to look around to gather the guards. But Vilan interrupts him. Your Highness, rather than preparing our departure, we have another problem that needs your attention. What is it, Vilan? I have been looking around before, and I'm pretty sure everyone barely has any food to eat tonight. What? How is that possible? I know our food supply is barely minimum, but it should be enough for tonight, right? Unfortunately, Your Highness, the food supply carriage is damaged badly, and we lost most of the food. We tried to gather up as many as we could, but sadly there's many which become inedible. That's very bad. How much do we have right now if we combine with my own supply? As far as I know, we only have enough food for at least a quarter of the whole convoy. And that's even after we combine with our personal supply. Really? That's not good at all. We don't have any reserve as well. I'm sorry, Your Highness, but I also didn't have any idea about this. Oh. It seems like there's trouble with food. Seal, how much bread do we have right now? There are 400 breads remaining, Master. It's not enough at all. But can we make more? Sure. Would you like to make the bread right now? Well, wait a minute. I have to ask for Constance's opinion on this. In the first place, I don't know how much they actually need it. So I stood up on my feet and walked towards them. Excuse me, but how much exactly about the food shortage? Both Vilain and Constance turned their head toward me. Well, the whole people in the convoy are up to 20,000 people. We only have enough food for barely 4,000 people. We lack food for another 16,000 people. And we don't have any reserve or alternative. We might be able to hunt some animals around here, but it still won't be enough, and wasting too much time. I see. Then, can we talk elsewhere? I have an idea of what to do. Welp, this can't be helped. I think I really need to step in and make food for them. But again, about the distribution, I guess I should hand it over to Constance. In that sense, I ask for both of them for a more private talk. Hinata also comes along. They gave me a confused look but immediately just nodded and came along without asking any questions. After we walked further away and found a good place, I was immediately said what inside my mind. Listen, this might sound out of common sense, but what I would say is true. I can give you all enough food, or more precisely, I can make bread that would be enough to fill 20,000 people. So dash. Are you really, Rimuru? Rimuru-sama, are you sure? Before I could finish my sentence, they had already cut me up. But, well, what would you expect them to be? Keep silent? Meanwhile, Hinata only sighed after hearing my sentence. Yes, I can. And I want you to handle the distribution. That's an easy task for us, Rimuru. You can leave it to me. And there's something I want to discuss as well. What is it, Rimuru? Well, it might sound unbelievable, so take it easy and listen carefully, okay? I suddenly remembered my idea to teleport the whole convoy, so they could arrive faster and safer. But, if people don't trust me, it will be useless to use this idea. I could imagine how strange it is or how absurd it sounds to people who had never known magic in their life. To trust their life in this sudden absurd proposal was nonetheless would be untrusted. That's why I need Constance's advice on this. Besides, it was his own people. And so, I try to explain it to him, from the very basic explanation about teleportation to my proposal to use this teleportation ability for the whole convoy. Unsurprisingly, both Constance and Vilain got shocked by what I said. In particular, Vilain was almost in denial about my ability. And not to mention, Hinata was also in surprise about it. She might be surprised about the number of people I could transport through teleportation. The three of them kept questioning me about this. Hinata and Constance questioned my method and the safety aspect, while Vilain questioned the ability itself. He seems still not to believe it, while Constance might be already given up on the whole common sense barrier. But after some time, all three of them agreed. That means we didn't have to take a break at all in here. That's true, Your Highness. All we need to do now is to gather around and let Rimuru-sama perform his teleportation magic. I agree, but that means you have to explain it to the people. Can you do that? Certainly, maybe there's going to be a little backlash from some people, but through some explanation, they would agree in the end. In that case, let me accompany you, Your Highness. And let's explain the situation first to the guards. They might be able to help us explain the idea on our behalf. That's a good idea, Vilan. Then it's settled. Let's explain it to Captain Klon and his men first. Vilan nodded and continued again by Constance. Rimuru, you can leave it to us. I'm very grateful for all your help. That's why you don't have to do anything for now. Sure, Constance. But if anything happens, just tell me as soon as possible. He nodded with a bright smile at me and immediately went with Vilan to start carrying out our plan. And it also means that I don't have to make bread either. Sorry, Seal, for now, let's prepare for the massive teleportation. Right away, Master. Seal always sounded happy whenever I gave her an order. Her sounds were actually pretty cute. To suddenly tease me is unfair, Master. Sorry? Anyway, right now I don't have anything to do. And here I am with Hinata, walking together to the initial place without any spoken words. She looked straight to the front without any expression on her face. I don't know what she's thinking, but it's clear she's thinking about something. We arrived at the initial campfire and sat there for some time. And at that time, Hinata suddenly spoke. Rimuru, can we talk a bit? What is it? Rimuru, do you understand the whole scale of what you've done? I nodded. Yeah. It's gonna be a big hassle, but it's already happened. So I can't turn my back now. Besides, I think by helping Constance, I might be able to help Shizue-san as well. That's what I've been thinking about. If we were going to help Sensei like this, there would be no end. What do you mean by that? Even if we could help them win this conflict, Constance is still gonna pass away naturally. And in that time, you know what I mean, don't you? I felt a jolt from this realization. Constance is going to pass away someday, and Shizue-san's soul won't be inside him anymore. And that means? Yes. This will be never-ending, Rimuru. When Constance dies, Sensei's soul is gone to another place again. We can find them, but if we let them loose again then we won't be able to stop as well. The cycle of inhabiting a people is the nature of the soul. I have been thinking about this. You're right. But what shall we do then? We can't turn our back now. All of our effort until now would be in vain. Unless we wait. I suddenly remembered something, but somehow I didn't feel it was a good decision. But I guess Hinata has a right to know it. What is it, Rimuru? I remembered about something. No, it's actually someone. It's about someone who can travel beyond time and space before me, and her purpose is to collect the soul of someone she loved the most. I see. That's not a bad idea. No, it's a different case. Both of them are in deep love with each other. Did you get it? I get it. You worried about what Sensei might be thinking about you keeping her soul, right? Exactly. I mean, who am I to her? We have a unique relationship, but we're not lovers, Hinata. It's creepy to think your soul is being kept by someone who's actually nobody to you, right? No, it's not. Hinata raised her voice and immediately stood up. She glares at me intently, her eyes fired up, her lips trembling, and she clenches both of her hands. Anybody would realize it, she's angry. But why? Did I say something wrong? She immediately took her composure back and let out a short sigh. Then, she sat down again. Don't think Sensei is seeing you as nobody, Rimuru. Rimuru, at the time when she entrusted herself to you, she already saw you as someone special. I know for that one, but dash. What? Do you think it's something natural to help her because you can? Do you think Sensei only asked you because she doesn't have any more choices? But that's the true dash. Listen to me, Rimuru. I don't know how much merit you've received from Sensei, but I believe Sensei is also receiving a lot from you. If you think she sees you as nobody, I believe we're talking about a different person from the beginning. So even if it's true that Sensei had no other choice than to entrust herself to you, in the end, you are the fated one for her. Her gaze is still fierce, as if she's stabbing my eye with her own eyes. There was no smile at all on her lip. I felt very intimidated. But that's not the worst. The worst is, somehow, I feel in denial about myself. I know Hinata is right. Shizue-san is my destined one. But it doesn't mean we're in love with each other. No, more than that, we became close just because I was the only one who accompanied her in her last breath. It still could be anyone other than me. But the main thing is what Hinata already said. In the end, it was me whom Shizue-san entrusted. Even so, is it really okay to keep her soul for me alone? Besides, what am I gonna do with Shizue-san's soul when every piece of them has been collected? Resurrecting her would be out of the question. Even if I prepared a physical body, a soul alone cannot make it as a living being. It needs a will, and I doubt a soul, no matter how complete it is, was also having a will with it. But wait a minute, Shizue-san's body is inside my stomach, right? What happened to that body? Shizu's body is already deceased, master. The simple explanation for it is there's no more Shizu's body anywhere inside of master. I see. So even if I perform the art of revival, there's no physical body to become the vessel for the soul. So, what's the point of collecting Shizu-san's soul? There's no point at all. In fact, it means I'm trapping her inside of me. It has the same meaning as me preventing Shizu-san's reincarnation cycle. Maybe I have to accept that sometimes, Shizu-san's soul has to inhabit someone who's living a hard life, a bad life, an unfortunate life. In that sense, perhaps Shizu-san's soul itself is not completely her own soul. Perhaps it's also a mixed soul from other people in the past from other worlds as well. Thinking about it, it makes me frustrated. Then, why do I have to be here? And in the first place, why am I searching for Shizu-san's soul? Why am I become obsessed with Shizu-san's soul anyway? Rimuru, it's not a bad thing to step back and rethink our purpose. Hinata suddenly speaks to me again. I completely forgot I was in the middle of a conversation with her. So, do you suggest abandoning Constance now? I highly doubt it's her intention, but right now, I can't find another reason behind her words. No. What I mean is we need to change our purpose from now on to continue this journey. Which is from helping anyone who has Sensei's soul into helping Sensei's soul itself. And how we're gonna do that? By making sure Sensei's soul is in the right hand. You know I can't do anything about Shizu-san's soul when it's contained inside of me, do you? I do, but I believe you can be a better place for her. Do you really think it's gonna be okay for her? If Sensei didn't accept it in the promised land, I'll take the responsibility. So you make it as a request to me? Yes. You didn't have to do that far. I told you, didn't I? I'm here with you. Don't take every burden by yourself. Unintentionally, I make smile at her. No, it's not because I'm making fun of her. It's the otherwise. I was honestly happy by her words. I never thought that I carry everything by myself. I only think that I do my part. In this case, my part was to determine the purpose of our journey and help Hinata to redeem herself. But, perhaps, what she said is true. If I wanted to make Hinata redeem herself, I needed to involve her more than before. So, what do you say about it? Let's do it. Now, I agree with her. Our purpose has changed. We're no longer just helping anyone with Shizu-san's soul. We're going to help Shizu-san's soul itself by collecting them and saving them inside of me. Although I still have some dilemmas about cutting the cycle of Shizu-san's reincarnation, I want to fulfill Hinata's trust in me. Maybe right now, I don't have any idea what should I do to Shizu-san's complete soul once we collect all the pieces, but I promise to keep it safe and guarantee its well-being. Hinata. What is it? Thank you very much. She smiled gently at me. You're welcome.
That's it for today. Remember to show your support to the creator of this story if you enjoyed it. If you would like more parts of the story to be uploaded, leave a comment and subscribe to get notified when the story continues. Bye-bye for now, and I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day.